I just want to ask a question to you or Duane. I was being shown. Oh, hi. I was being shown. Well, I was kind of confused, but is the real awareness, is that our isness too? Because I was shown something like our neutral self is neither negative nor positive, neither male or female, neither light or darkness. It's that isness in there. And so that reminded me a little bit of the neutral being. So am I getting that correctly?
Okay, let's have some fun here, Ramone. So you've picked up this terminology, which we all have from the past.
Yeah.
From people that thought they knew what was going on, which is fine. Okay, so you got the idea here, and it's been going around for a long time. I hear these things too. So I like to confront it, and that is that because life is always new now and to be recognized for what it is, not what we think it is. And so you've got this idea or term called a neutral being. Okay, so how do you see that from your experience?
That's where the isness is. That's where our true awareness is at.
Well, again, so life being what it is.
Ourselves.
Yeah, life being what it is. Again, the idea of the neutral being. It sounds kind of funny, doesn't it, when you kind of use that idea, well, we're not this or that, but we're neutral. Okay, and the old idea also is, we're to stay in balance. Okay, so you have the corporation, which I went through for over 30 years with Paul, etc., and Darwin and Harold, and I experienced all this funny stuff. But, you always the idea of, you were to stay in balance. Well, do they recognize what that really means? They really don't, do they? Who recognizes that? Who recognizes what neutral being means? They don't recognize it, do they? No. So these are cute ideas that we've come to know. But where's the recognition of it really? Because everything in life is alive, and it's just how we recognize it to be so, or we don't. And so it's that aliveness that is the real recognition that provides us a position to perceive. That's being able to read this true reality, this isness, more than just describing it with our mind and using it as a label or an authority. We've gone through all that. It doesn't work. It seemed to work. And look at the world. It seems to work. Everybody has their labels and ideas, but they're just ideas in creation. There's no aliveness in them. When a person prays, when a person looks to saviors and gods, where's the aliveness to that? It isn't there. It's just ideas. They use the idea of belief. It's just an idea. It's not alive. And so again, just like the physical body, it's a simulation. But the real awareness is alive according to what life is. So when we use these terms and we really look at them, they're really kind of dull and boring. And the best part is to recognize that aliveness that life is, aside from what isn't alive but only seems to be. So again, you have these terms. And so this is where I've rewritten history, and that is that we've come through all this up to Paul's time. And he was to come first. And he was, again, I've said it many times, he was the babysitter. That's it. He was to pacify people to a certain point, and then it was up to them to take the risk to see more. But of course, most haven't, because they like their emotional, mental position and teachings and ideas and all these things that they have come to know, feeling safe with, as their authority. And what's so cool about the real universe is it's all alive. There are no authorities. There are no restrictions. And this really bothers people too, because again, they try to relate the isness or the all is to like a god or an authority. No, you are the decider. You decide how aware you want to be. And there is no inner or outer. It all just is, and it's just how you see it and recognize it. And so life also, and the real guides recognize if you do or not, or you just have an idea of it, because it's a huge journey. There's a whole lot more to it. So look at those terminologies, if those satisfy you, but what do they really mean? What do they really, really mean? So my position here with the new presentation is very simple. The all-natural environment that already is all life, and that's everything. So again, that is alive to be recognized for what it is. But again, that's a huge journey. And so people have their ideas about it. And mainly, all those ideas that you've come to know, they have nothing to do with what we're doing. Nothing. So everything that you've learned through the spiritual paths and wherever you've come from has nothing to do with the isness life is now, because it's a recognition. And this is the challenge for each person if they want to step up, like Kevin here is, and be the great witness to something more than just their personal life and what they've come to know. So we've all come through experiences. We've all come through a whole lot. But how is it that we can present something that makes sense more so than what we've been through? That's the best part when you take on that challenge, or just drag all that old stuff with you, thinking that, oh, I've got to do this, I have a mission, and I want people to understand or whatever. I'm not here to get people to understand. That's why I called it the new presentation. It's a presentation like the sun shining. That's the uniqueness that life is, to recognize it when you can present something that makes sense. But then again, free will is there. You have to respect the free will of others, that they decide to recognize it. That's the interesting part, and the challenge to, in some way, utilize references creatively to where they can be educated with a real education that makes sense. Yes, and to interpret things accordingly to what life is now, and use the comparison of what we've been through. So there's always more potential, and that's the fun part too. So again, these old words and phrases, people hand them around constantly. Oh, it's this or that, or I believe in God, or all these things. The purple flame, soulmates, all these things. They're just ideas. That's all they are. They're just ideas. And so to create real references that make sense with what life is now. And life knows. And life babied people along. But you know what? It's not doing it anymore. There's no more babysitters with the real universe is and the all is. No, it's an isness now. And this is an opportunity now. And so the babysitting days, the days of masters and gurus is gone. But yes, they're still here, but not with us. So this becomes the fun part of how to see this, and to take on the adventure of presenting this and see who will wake up. Okay? It's a real romantic adventure. Is there anything else, Ramone? Go ahead.
Oh, no, thank you. I would just want to make it clear to myself.
Yeah, that's that takes time. So again, you have these old references.
Yeah.
And when you look at them, what are they really? They're just floating ideas. They're like bubbles floating in the air. They're just ideas. Belief is an idea that has been sold to the public, like hope and faith, whatever. I've talked about these things many times. Those are the biggies: hope, faith, belief, and they're all maybes. They're really nothing. But people think they are something, you see, because they're always chasing themselves into the future, pushing themselves into the future too, etc. But they don't see this because they think something's in the future. Oh, Jesus is coming, or this is going to be better, or whatever. But it only gets worse, because by the very fact of how they're doing this, they're actually allowing themselves to be controlled. So of course things get worse until they wake up and stop agreeing with the nonsense that they've been indoctrinated with. But that's a choice. That's a big choice. We can't decide that. We can't decide how the birds fly. That's their choice. Yeah, so that's the fun part, is the challenge now. And It took me a while to figure this out, but I like the unknown challenge. It's a mission impossible. Yes, it is, and there's many ways to reference it. But as long as the intent is with the isness, life is pure, real intent with that isness, then almost anything, basically anything, can work out as a reference when you can creatively bring it around to it. That's the fun part and the challenge, to see that and do that. And very few people will take that on. They'll just go with their mind and all the mental stuff that they've accumulated, thinking that they know something when they really don't, because all life is and knows it. Okay? But it's not a thinking process. It's an isness that cannot be defined. You cannot consider it. So what is it? Yeah. It's so much more real. It's real. And that's the best part. So it's not spiritual. It's not goody. It's not happiness. It's not any of these things. Again, the sun shining is a hint. And that's the best part, when you pick up on that hint and that reflects accordingly. It's amazing. It's beyond amazing. I'm always amazed that even creation, how it is, has come to be, and what we do here. It's all amazing. The whole experience is. But to see through it all, because the true reality life is invisible. Again, it can't be considered. So those things that we consider, even the references that I create here, are something, but it's not it. So what is it? What brings us together? Yeah, that's the part you want to figure out and take part in the adventure of presenting it and being the great witness with it, because that's what the real guides are looking for. They're looking for those who have the courage to step up and be a great witness, to refer to them and what they're referring to. That's what it's all about. It's not about a teaching or being indoctrinated or carrying a book around and reciting words and all this silly stuff, or carrying a picture of somebody around, etc., etc. That's why I've made it fun. And the images that even I do, etc. Again, it's always pointing to the real side. But that's here. It's not over there. It's all here to be recognized and see it for what it is. So that's the fun part. Yes, was there anything else?
So the real awareness is the isness.
Yes.
Okay.
We are all life itself, but what we've done, just like Paul said, and he referred to it as creation is like a piece torn out of life. Okay, that's just a reference, all right? There's no tearing or whatever, okay? It's just something that has been decided. It's that simple. Everything is choice. It really is. It's choice and agreement. Again, the monetary system is a very good example. People think, oh, it's, you have to have all this college and with economics and all this stuff to understand the system. No, you don't. It's created out of nothing. You just get yourself a printing press, start printing the money. That's all the bad boys did. They just start printing the money and to control others, etc. And it's based upon agreement. So they printed the money, and only if they get agreement does it have a supposed value. So again, it's what we agree to. And it's okay to agree to everything. I agree to everything. I'm fine with everything. Because it's really all the same. It just appears differently. And it can all be utilized for something, just like the dirt we walk on. People don't want to bring it into their house, but hey, that dirt grows your food. So it's all from the same stuff. And everything that's been created, from the buildings, the roads, the money, our clothes, etc., it all came from the dirt. That's real. Where else did it come from? Walmart? No, Walmart came from the dirt. So creation is an essential, but the big adventure is when you're ready to recognize what's real, and with your real awareness supersede all that. It may take 1,000 years, and it ain't going to happen overnight. But what most people do first, I've seen so many come and go in the 50 years I've been doing this, is that they pick up on the so-called knowledge first. That's what they think, because of how they've been indoctrinated and taught. They think that, oh, I got the knowledge. now I know what he's saying. Duane has rearranged the words here in a particular way, and so now I get the idea of it. No, they don't have anything. They can take all the knowledge. That's why I don't even copyright it. It's just rearranged words. That's all it is. And most people can't figure out why I rearrange them and create new words, etc., because you need specific references, not old references. Paul used the God idea because he was the babysitter. He babied people. They wanted to hear the God idea. Okay, so he played with that and eventually started the transition with it. But then again, he dropped it off. He let it be simply because you got to figure out the next step. You got to take the risk. And so as I come along, how do people see it? How do the membership or whatever see it? Doesn't matter. Who am I? Etc. Well, I always point people to Rebazar and Paul. You know, they're the ones that started what Paul did, etc. So just ask them what's going on now. Well, even if they do get the answer, they still don't get it because they have that personal self that is so lodged in to old ideas that it can't even sidestep or be indifferent to it in any way because it's so emotionally attached to it. And that's a choice. And everybody has that choice respectfully. So again, I've made this fun because it is fun, but you just got to see it that way. And the best part is that everybody gets the opportunity to step up and do whatever they want. And all I ask is that, hey, you know, just reference the true reality life is, reference the real guides, and then take it from there and let's see what happens. Do the NUUU and let life show you, hey, see what happens next. And if you have the courage, take it and present it out there like Kevin's doing as an example. Kevin's the big example here. And we are now bringing forth the new Galaxiers to the public because it's time. I see that. Everything that I do is that I see it. And I see to where, how is it going to make sense as I present it to the public. And I see that as very important. But then again, you know, it usually bothers everybody. But then again, that's part of the wake up too. It's not harmful, but it does bother people that like to be know-it-alls and authorities, and they don't want to hear it because, again, they want to draw the attention of the unaware to them. And just like the experiences that I went through with Darwin and Harry and Joni, etc. And, you know, they have the right to do what they do, but it's not working. None of it's working. None of these things, the political, religious, all these systems, they're not working. They're old hat. But again, look at the masses, how they agree to them. So all we can do is share something wonderful, but you got to be a risk taker to see it. This is the new nowness.
This planet Earth needs a lot of help from all of us right now. Dean Val of NUUU, Nations United, UNUversal, UNUversity, is contacting people around this world every day to share the importance of the all-natural environment supporting all of us. Dean Val and Duane Lee Heppner.org 501c3 have created CAN, Community Action Network, to help all communities become aware of how to be self-sufficient with permaculture and food and rainforests. We are always looking for real people to step up who want to learn what life on this earth is all about. We will be leasing large portions of land to create something wonderful for all communities everywhere. Contact Val Vitals on Skype and Facebook, and through the phone number and the website DuaneTheGreatWriter.net provided in the links, to get involved with what we all can do now. The NUUU, Nations United UNUversal UNUversity, is dedicated to supporting and providing a real purpose and real awareness with the all-natural environment supporting all of us. First comes this earth, with food and rainforests, and to protect what is still here. For those who have the awareness to see what is actually taking place here, with all the natural devastation, which is also purposely planned by WorldKontrollers, you now have a real opportunity to step up and do something with those who also care about your planet Earth. Duane Lee Heppner has created the NUUU, Nations United UNUversal UNUversity, which completely entails the all-natural environment everywhere, and a real education that has real value, and that far surpasses any commonly created indoctrinating educational system that does not focus on what sustains all of us naturally. Real survival makes sense with everything here that is self-sustaining.